Wow.
We made it. We made it with a YouTube live stream up. My very patient wife, she
yeah, I can imagine.
Loves, and she was like, "You do your thing. We'll reconvene in 2 hours."
Sorry, still got to work.
She is the Dorothy Mantooth of modern era women. She is a saint.
I don't get that reference, but I believe you.
Oh my God, you never saw Anchorman?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, dude, that movie's so good. All right, can you turn up the
10 lavish indulgences, all $3 or less. It's easy to get carried away. Like when you try the new mini taco salad, you might ask, do I need a salad fork? The fork in the bag's fine. Lux Value Menu at participating locations while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
I have heart failure.
Well, that's awesome.
And being out of breath all the time was just too much. I also have other symptoms like carpal tunnel syndrome and lower back pain, and I thought something's really off. That's why I talked to my cardiologist about ATTR-CM, or transthyretin cardiac amyloidosis.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Is a serious heart condition often accompanied by other non-heart-related symptoms. It's a condition that gets worse over time, so starting treatment early is important. Talk to your cardiologist today to see if you have ATTR-CM. Vindamax, tafamidis, is a prescription pill taken once a day to treat adults with ATTR-CM to reduce death and hospitalization for heart problems. Tell your doctor about all your medications, medical conditions, and if you have liver problems or breastfeeding, pregnant, or plan to be. There are no known side effects with Vindamax. For prescribing information, call 1-877-278-9632. Learn more at Vindamax.com.
Ask your doctor about ATTR-CM.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Your entire sports feed all in one place with iHeartRadio from the Pacific
Nice.
North.
Apparently they had me doing this show from SoCon.
To the bracket busting in March.
I thought it was spectacular.
From the first pitch
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
to the dreams of the NFL Draft.
With the first pick.
You're one tap away. Open the iHeart app and stream your local station. Catch the latest on Fox Sports Radio or dive into the world's biggest sports
All right, here we go.
podcasts. Search sports on iHeartRadio and lock in.
The games are over, so there's only one thing left to do: overreact. The NFL Draft Nerd is here to weave through the world of sports and separate fact from fiction. Get involved. The call-in line's open at 864-240-5480. You can tweet us, we don't call it X, at the NFL Draft Nerd. Now, here's that creed-loving, bird-fearing, football lunatic, Jeremy Greene.
What is up, South Carolina? I am at the NFL Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene. This is Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Ingles Markets. Find them online, ingles-markets.com. And, you know, the Open says I'm a football lunatic. I can definitively say I have never been more lunatic than I am right now. I've been in this studio for 6 minutes. I started the day in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have met with 3 separate 2026 NFL Draft prospects today, and I still somehow made it here in time to do this show. Let's go.
That's dedication. Well done.
No one will ever say in my life, they will not say I do not earn my keep. I may have a massive coronary before it's all said and done, but I earn my keep. Tonight, we're talking 2026 NFL Scouting Combine. I want your questions. What do you want to know about what happened over? I think I was in Indianapolis for 47 days. I halfway forgot how to get to my house. I was driving down the interstate going, is it this one or that one? No, it's that one. But we want to hear your questions. Call-in line's open, 864-240-5480. Text line also open, 864-777-9593. We have been at the Combine. We did all of the workouts. We did all of the media availabilities. We saw Mahai Lemon, who will now forever and for always never be referred to as anything else after he showed up at the podium.
Got a collar?
We'll say he looked a little worse for the wear.
He was focused.
He was locked in on where to find his next set of Funyuns. We have our first call of the night. Call in line, 864-240-5480. Caller, who is this?
Good evening, Jeremy. This is Rocky in Greenville.
How are you, my friend?
I'm I'm doing well. You've been jetting all around everywhere, so I'm glad you're safe and sound to be able to do your show. I got a question for you. I got 4 guys from South Carolina, and I'm just going to ask. I have a little information, and I read and listen and stuff like that. So first, from South Carolina, Brandon Cisse, I understand. I mean, he did some things. He didn't run. He says he's going to run in his pro day. Jalen Kilgore, information I got, he might have had a pretty good combine. Nick Barrett, the lineman, I understand he might have had a pretty good combine. And Rasul Faison, and these are the 4 guys that were invited from South Carolina. I'm not really sure about Rasul and what he did. So if whatever information you have and how you feel, did they improve themselves, or, as far as the draft goes, or did they, represent themselves well at the combine? I'm curious what you got to say.
Thank you for the question, Rocky. I'm going to go in reverse order of the ones that I got to see the most. So Barrett, I saw that he was there. I was in the middle of something. I'm not going to lie to you. The schedule's kind of combined here, and I don't remember. A couple of the people that went with us were there in his media availability. I did not hear anything negative. I think he's right in that draftable grade, probably late 6, early 7. Faison, I heard a lot of good things about. There are a lot of people around the community that like him. I don't think he hurt himself at the combine. It's the fastest running back class we've ever had, and he definitely fits in that. Then the other 2, they both were there the same day, and I, being the studious member of the Fox Sports Upstate family, decided to wear my South Carolina stuff that day. They both saw me. One of them gave me the little dap. Another one gave me a hug and said it's good to see a familiar face here in Indianapolis. Kilgore, I think, is going to go somewhere in that 50 to 60 range. Cisse may sneak into the first round. This was not a great week for the corners, and I don't think Cisse hurt himself, which could have actually ended up helping him. So I would say really? Cisse probably fits somewhere in 25 to 45. Kilgore is going to be very scheme specific. Some teams won't love him. Some will absolutely love him. I think he's going to be a menace and an absolute missile. I'll say Kilgore goes between 45 and 60.
So that's the 45. So you're probably you're talking second round, third round.
Cisse could sneak into to the end of day 1.
Well, Cisse can sneak into the first round, yeah. Or be another Nick Emanwari, and you go like in the first few picks of the second round. Seattle got a steal there.
Oh, for sure. I'll tell you what I told them both because I did talk to them both. I said, I don't know that either of you goes in the first round. But if you're sitting there on night 2 waiting on your name to be called, I don't think you're going to have to wait very long.
I got you. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Jeremy. Good to hear you, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, Rocky. It's good to be heard, and good to be heard not sounding like I'm in a fishbowl like we were last week.
You got a text.
I still don't know why that happened, but Engineer Andrew and we have been in touch, and we are trying to figure out for the draft how to make that not happen.
Got another caller.
Because we're all going to the draft. So if it sounded that bad with 4, I can only imagine what it's going to sound like with 13. So we will figure that out before Pittsburgh. We have another caller on the line. Caller, who is this?
Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave again. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, I'll be at the draft. Hopefully I run into you just a little bit. I just got done watching your the 6 hours that you guys did, fighting death and chasing Fireball. First I want to say Falafel Todd.
There were so many terrible decisions made there, not the least of which was, hey, every 500 views, we're going to do a shot of Fireball. Because I woke up and feel like I had COVID, H1N1, and the bird flu all 3 at the same time.
Well, they couldn't bring it down, and Falafel Todd. But my question is, have you heard anything about any teams particularly falling in love with a prospect that might want to just say to heck with the draft. Not necessarily Mike Ditka with the Saints and Ricky Williams, but maybe moving up, phoning in some of the draft this year and just preparing for next year. I appreciate the time. Thank you, man.
Absolutely. We thank you. And it's a great question. And it leads to one of the overwhelming things that I saw at the 2026 NFL Scouting Combine. I'm not going to be shocked. And to what he said, I don't think it'll be Ricky Williams-esque. I don't think we'll ever do that again. I'm not going to be shocked if a team has fallen so completely in love with a player that they're willing to just give it up in 26.
Really?
Because the thing you got to understand about this class, and Trey, this steers into something that we're going to ask of you at the end of this segment.
Oh boy.
It's right in your wheelhouse. Okay. You'll enjoy this quite a bit.
Okay.
I do believe it's about the bumper music. We want Trey to make use of the space because I have seen a similarity between this year and another year, and I can't unsee it. The thing about this class is that highest of high side, there are players that I fully believe you could just fall drunk in love on. And I get it. I don't know what that's going to cost. There are a handful of teams. I'm looking directly at Washington, the Chargers. I can't remember all of the teams they're light on draft capital.
Yeah.
The strength of this class, and it's going to sound weird when I say this, the strength of this class falls from about 75 to 150 because you're getting roughly the same player at 75 that you're getting at 150.
Yeah.
Now, that makes it sound like it's really weak. It's not. You just have a lot of guys because you're getting in this NIL age where guys have come back to school, guys are in this class that maybe should have come out a year ago or 2 years ago. They're older prospects. We really know what we're getting. Don't be shocked, especially in the second half of the first round and in the top 7 picks, if you see some movement. Because a team wants picks in 2027. I was on Washington radio today. I said, I do find it funny that every year the next year's draft is going to be absolutely nanners.
It
very rarely is. I think this one will be. If you're willing to do anything with capital in 27, you can do anything you want to in 26. And that is including and not limited to, number 1, Fernando Mendoza, number 2, who I believe will be David Bailey if the Jets stay there, and Francis Mauigoa, who is universally the number 1 offensive lineman in this class. There is nothing off the table. 27 is the great hype. We're going to have an elite edge rusher. We're going to have an elite receiver. We're going to have what feels like 24 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there are going to be teams that look at this and go, we don't need a quarterback. We don't need a quarterback. There's going to be so many of them next year that I think it's actually going to be harder to move in that class than people think. And I think teams will start not necessarily auctioning off their picks, but I heard a lot of teams. I met with a handful of teams that are picking in the top 10, and they did not seem beholden to taking a player up there.
Interesting.
If we can make ourselves better for the long haul, that's what we're going to do. This class is so interesting to me, and it reminds me of another class. Trey, how old are you? I know you're younger than me, but I think
32.
We're very close.
I was born in 93.
Okay, you were born in 1993. How much do you remember about the year 2000?
A little bit.
Not a ton. But you recall it.
Right, yeah. I think I was in kindergarten.
Let me take you down memory lane of what happened in 2000.
Okay.
The Cleveland Browns were in their second year in the league after coming back.
Okay.
So they had gotten Tim Couch. They selected Courtney Brown, who wound up not necessarily being what you wanted him to be.
Yeah.
But then you had other players in that top 20. LeVar Arrington, Chris Samuels, Jamal Lewis, Plaxico Burress, Brian Urlacher, Sean Ellis, John Abraham, Julian Peterson. And he had a quarterback who is one of my favorites to ever do it. One, Chadwick Ezekiel Pennington III. I don't think I have a better comp to Fernando Mendoza than Chad Pennington. This class in 2000 reminds me so much of what we're doing in this class. And the Washington, who were at that time the team name that we cannot say on terrestrial radio, had 2 picks in the top 3. What got me thinking about this is I'm not going to be shocked if a team goes all in to have 2 picks in the top 10. I'm also not going to be shocked if it's a team that does it to get 2 teammates that played together at the same school in the Big Ten. This is a wild, wild class. And I think the movement is going to be hot and heavy. So for the rest of the show, bumper music from the 2000s. You can go whatever genre you want to. That's totally up to you. There might be some Creed bangers that could slide into that because there was an album that was put out in 1999. The 2000 draft and the 2026 class are so unbelievably similar. And there were a lot of really good players that came out of that class. I feel really good about what I saw. I just don't know that you're going to have the Hall of Famers kind of like you did in that class. You had a Brian Urlacher who was the high side. Peter Warrick didn't pan out the way you thought he would. But then you got a lot of Thomas Jones and Plaxico and Ahmed Plummer. And, I mean, there are a lot of names that did good things in this league. And I think that's what we're going to get in this class. What you're going to get for the next 2 hours, overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. This is a big week for Ingles Markets. And it's a big week for us here in the show. Because it's the Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship, men's and women's, runs March 5th through the 9th, at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. See some of the nation's best conference tournament action, then explore a city packed with locally owned restaurants, incredible breweries, live music, and nonstop action. Experience it all during the 2026 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championships. For tickets, brackets, and event details, visit SoConHoops.com. You can see me on Friday. I believe we're doing this show from SoCon on Monday. So if you come to Asheville, catch some hoops and catch up with your favorite big mulleted idiot from the radio. He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene. You're in Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets, and we'll be back all right here on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate.
Looking for the best in flag football? iFlag is the Guinness World Record holder, hosting elite flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. Join the move.
Did you say we had
Dumb
another
question,
caller,
but
or
were
was
you
it
talking about
text?
the Styles brothers?
No, I was talking about Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I heard 2 teams say we want them both.
Wow. Okay.
We want them both. Which, how you would do that, I have no idea. But it was weird that 2 of them said it to me.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Now, it was said before Styles ran, so that may have changed it. He may have priced himself out. I don't know.
Oh, really?
But it was a wild week.
Yeah, I can imagine. Did he run? Was it that bad? I didn't.
No. 4.46. He was flying.
Oh, okay.
No, he probably
I get what you're saying. Price himself
10.
out like he's too expensive.
Yeah, it may be too expensive for a team to get up there and do it, but I know there are teams that want to.
Gotcha. Man, that's interesting.
How long do I have here?
You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Did you say I have a call on the line, or was it a text?
There's a text. You got Soaring Eagle.
Okay. All right, 10-4. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Okay.
Of that, I definitely feel like I have an added level of empathy for them, and I kind of understand where they're coming from. It may have specific timelines, seasons that are upcoming, practices and things that may be challenging to overcome when you're trying to recover from an injury. And so we certainly can curtail patients' treatment and their physical therapy plan to their specific sport.
Never let chronic pain get in your way of an active lifestyle. Learn more at CarolinaONA.com. Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, Kona. Total quality care under one roof.
Spring savings start early at Lowe's. Get a Cobalt 24-volt max leaf blower for just $99. It's powerful, lightweight, and ready to go. Plus, get 4 bags of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil for just $10. Don't wait. Get everything you need to start on your spring projects today. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/4. Soil offer excludes Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a staff accountant at the height of tax season.
Congrats, looks like the company owes Huh, $50 in taxes. How about that?
That seems low. Why only 50?
Why do you care so much? It's not your money.
This is a job for Sponsored Jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Years ago, he was there at the beginning of sports talk radio.
I came down, I was making $18,000. I was living large.
Today, he's the most decorated host of all time.
This is the greatest individual selfish feeling ever. Yes!
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays beginning at 9 on Fox Sports Upstate.
That is a solid start for one, sweet baby Trey Falco. As we hearken back to 2000, because I do firmly believe that this draft, 2026, it's very similar to 2000. One of the things that I was hung up on going to Indianapolis was I didn't really see, Core in the YouTube chat said I didn't have a linebacker-heavy top 10 on my bingo card. Yeah. I really didn't either, and yet here we are. You have a lot of studs in this class that don't play premier positions. Arvell Reese, at the end of the day, is better as an off-ball linebacker. He may develop into a premium edge rusher. Sonny Styles is an off-ball linebacker.
Yep.
Caleb Downs is a safety. Jeremiah Love's a running back. By the way, Jeremiah Love is an absolute dog. He had probably my favorite answer of the week. So one of the things that people don't necessarily know if they're not in the room at the Combine is that you get a lot of team-centric podcasters, media guys. They take up space in the media scrums, and they ask questions that only apply to their team.
Right. That makes sense.
One guy asked Jeremiah Love, have you interviewed with America's team, and how would you feel about playing for them? Would you like to know what Jeremiah Love's response was?
I want me some glory hole.
That would have been good, too. But his answer was, who the hell's America's team? I want to play for whoever drafts me, and I don't care who it is.
Ooh.
And I went, Jeremiah Love's my favorite player in the NFL. I want he and I to go do karate in the garage. And I would wager Jerry Jones probably did not love that response.
No, probably not.
Jerry's probably sitting around going, how does anybody not know that the Dallas Cowboys?
You don't know us?
I did see your guy, Dan Campbell.
Oh, did you?
The Motor City Madman is he's a lunatic. I love him. And I saw him do something that you probably won't hear anybody else talk about. So coach and GM availability is always a little wild. Yeah. Because these guys are only in that room for 30 minutes apiece, tops. But Dan Campbell does his availability, and then he comes off. I don't know if he recognized the kid. I'm not sure what it was, but it was a nice kid. Lions podcaster, he comes down, talks to him for 15 minutes, gives him his cell phone number, and says, hit me up. I'll do your podcast. And I don't know what it was about that just made me go, that's why I love Dan Campbell.
That's awesome.
There are so many guys in this business that take themselves so seriously.
Yeah.
And then you get the kneecap chewer who's just, he's here to party.
It doesn't get any better. It's everything you dream of and then more.
That's exactly right, Motor City Madman. Our text line, call-in lines, they're both open. Text line's 864-777-9593. You can also call the show, 864-240-5480. We have a couple texts on the text line. First one's from Tristan, who said, glad you guys made it home safe. Tristan came by the Combine house to say hello, lives in Indianapolis, brought us, without a doubt, the best cheese stick I've ever had in my life. Imagine pizza dough wrapped around a block of cheese with pepperoni and pizza sauce in it.
That sounds incredible.
He brought us 6. There were 5 people in that house. We all ate, and we were all hungry.
Yeah.
We all ate one, which is staggering to me. First of all, because I'm fat, so is Tank Spencer. The Canadian David Smith, big guy too.
Yeah.
And then Mike Carlisle, who's a former military guy, still working out, still bringing out the gun show. One breadstick each, and we went, I can't anymore. It's so good, but I can't eat any more of it. Soaring Eagle, he sent in a text as well. He said, can we start questioning Nick Caserio again? So you have the worst offensive line in the NFL. You trade an offensive lineman and 2 day 3 picks where you could have gotten offensive line depth for a running back who needs a good offensive line to look like he doesn't belong in the UFL. You need to explain that one to me like I'm 3, Nick. A lot to unpack there. We did have Titus Howard being traded to the Cleveland Browns today. David Montgomery being traded to the Houston Texans.
Yep.
That trade escalated quick. We heard that one on the way out of the workouts yesterday, and it was finalized before I got on my plane in Indy. I like David Montgomery. That trade tells me a handful of things. One, Houston does not like this running back class at all, and I can't tell them that they're wrong. It also tells me that Joe Mixon is DUNE done.
Mm-hmm.
We heard a lot about the medical on him, that he may be retirement done. He has a lot of issues stemming from that injury last year. It's sad for Mixon. I kind of like the move for David Montgomery because this is not a good running back class. The problem is I'm looking at the line he's running behind going, how are you planning on fixing that? Because the offensive line for the Houston Texans is terrible, no matter what Nick Caserio might tell you.
That was terrible last year, and they did nothing to fix it.
Oh, he had one of the quotes of the week on Tuesday. I was in his media availability with Steve Palazzolo, who's one of the only media members in the country that's taller than me. Played minor league baseball. He's like 6'10".
Good Lord.
He was standing next to me. Nick Caserio says, I think we had the best offensive line we've had the entire time I've been here. Palazzolo leaned down to me and said, did he say what I think he just said? I looked up at him and said, I can't actually tell him he's wrong. I'm just not sure I would be lauding that or celebrating it because it was still a bottom 5 unit in the league.
Yeah.
This was a wild year for it's free to say stuff. Miami Dolphins just crucifying Tua. Kyler Murray might be the most hated player in the NFL. Geno Smith has become a trade piece that seemingly every quarterback-needy team wants. We're living in bizarro world, Trey.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. You had me up until the Geno, and I was like, hold on, what?
Kirko Chainz not getting a lot of love.
Right.
Geno seems to be the fallback for several teams, including Minnesota. I think Minnesota's already mentally ready to tap out on J.J. McCarthy.
Which generational run on the memes, though.
Oh, by the way, have you seen the J.J. McCarthy, Nikola Jokic face-off memes? Those are...
Oh, no, I haven't seen those.
Those make the sun rise. In my life, I want Kay Adams to look at me one time the way she looked at Daniel Jeremiah, and I don't ever want somebody Nikola Jokic's size to look at me the way he looked at, who was that, Lou Dort?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, don't bet against the fat boy.
I don't even know what he said right there.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
Oh,
they were talking about, that's when he was talking about that he got drafted during a Taco Bell commercial.
And he's never had Taco Bell, which is insane.
And they're like, what do you think about that? And he's like,
yeah, don't bet against the fat boy.
Oh, that should be in the open of this show for sure. Also, because I know Nikola Jokic personally.
Oh, really?
I do. His English is not awesome. He cannot really understand a word that I say, and he
loves horses.
He does love horses. He loves horses and his wife.
Yeah.
Really, the only two things I know about the guy. And his brothers will mess you up if you cross that line. It was a wild time at the Combine. There were a lot of people that helped themselves.
Yeah.
I do have to say, and I say this every year, there is nothing on the planet Earth that we do that is more overrated than Run the 40. It is the dumbest thing that people get wrapped up in. And when I really love it is when they're looking at offensive linemen going, look, they ran a 4.9. Isn't that good for the big guy? And when exactly are we planning on using that?
Right.
How often do you think Logan Jones is going to run downhill 40 yards down the field? Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not going to happen very often.
What's the lineman? He was 6'9", ran a 5.3 40.
Markel Bell.
Yeah.
He came into the convention center, and it's always funny for me with those the lower prospects because Bell's a day 3 guy.
Oh yeah.
It's always funny with me when there's something identifying about a prospect. They're really heavy. They're really tall. They're really short. It shocks me when the media sees them for the first time, and I can just look around in the room and go, first day? Just nestled into this class, didn't you? Yeah. Markel Bell walked in, and I don't know who the guy beside me thought he was, but he out loud said, who is that guy? In my head, I went, it's in the script. Like, you have an itinerary there. You could have kept that one in your head, and nobody would have known that you didn't know who that was. Not that there's anything wrong with you not knowing who he is, but we are here at the Combine. Maybe learn a book.
Just your job.
It is our job. It is a fun job. One of the highlights of the Combine for me, David Smith, old friend of ours, the resident Canadan of our shows, and our new friend Mike Carlisle. For me, being able to get people into that room for the first time, there's something really magic about that. Mike, first of all, his evolution over the week was incredible. He asked Eli Heidenreich, the running back from Navy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this. I thought the Naval Academy, the guys that were there, they would get assigned to the Navy. Does that not stand to reason?
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
Apparently that's not always true. So Mike, being a military guy, he asked Heidenreich about his assignment, if he doesn't get drafted or anything like that, and he serves the military service. And he said he had been stationed with the Marines. So Mike, without missing a beat, says, have you determined what flavor crayon is your favorite? First of all, to say that out loud is one of the funniest things I've heard somebody say in a media scrum in a long time. Heidenreich laughed aggressively, and his answer was great. He said, I haven't tried yet. I think they make us do that in boot camp. I was like, see, that's what this is about, is having fun. Don't just ask the question of, hey, have you met with the Lions? No? Oh, I'm going to walk away now. Stop doing that. And stop booing guys when they run and throw at the Combine.
Yeah.
Poor Carson Beck. I don't love him either, but I'd kill to have an Indiana fan explain to me, you beat him, right? Like, booing him makes sense if he had beaten you.
Right.
You beat him. Why are you booing him? I know you've been good for 15 seconds, but I feel like that's some day one material right there.
Yeah.
We have a text on the text line. I'm not sure who this is from. It said, heck of a draft show last night. 6 hours we went last night. David Smith and I did a 3-round mock after the Combine. 6 hours and 17 minutes.
I don't know how you still have a voice.
I barely do. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel terrible. My wife ordered food, and I looked at her and I said, I'm going to eat, and if I survive 30 minutes, I'll be shocked. We had over 5,000 people nest in on our draft show last night. It's crazy. Still to this day, there are times that I go, it's a cool life I have. And it's all thanks to you. All thanks to you that listen. You like things on social media, all of the different things that allow us to live this dream, and we appreciate you from the bottom of our oversized and greatly overworked hearts. You're in Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Find them online, ingles-markets.com. Get involved, 864-240-5480, or hit us up on the text line 864-777-9593. We'll be back right after this on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate.
104.9 Fox Sports Upstate Weather.
This is WYFF News 4 Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice with your forecast. Look for slowly clearing skies as we go throughout the day on Tuesday. We'll top out near 60 degrees. Onward and upward, though, as we get into Wednesday, we're going to see more sunshine, mid-70s. We're in the upper 70s, even pushing 80 degrees with partly cloudy skies Thursday and Friday this week. As we go into the weekend, we'll have a chance for an isolated thunderstorm each afternoon, again with high temperatures near 80 degrees.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Facing production swings or a tough skills gap? Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Professionals makes hiring easier. Find your local office and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster for contract and full-time jobs. Visit ExpressPros.com.
I have heart failure, and being out of breath all the time was just too much.
My lower back pain was interrupting family time. My carpal tunnel syndrome was taking me away from work. That's why I talked to my cardiologist about my symptoms.
That's why I talked to my cardiologist.
That's why I talked to my cardiologist and discovered I had ATTR-CM, or transthyretin cardiac amyloidosis.
If you have heart failure and new or worsening symptoms, it could be ATTR-CM. ATTR-CM is a serious heart condition often accompanied by other non-heart-related symptoms. Talk to your cardiologist today and see what's possible. Vindamax, tafamidis, is a prescription pill taken once a day to treat adults with ATTR-CM to reduce death and hospitalization for heart problems. Tell your doctor about all your medications, medical conditions, and if you have liver problems or breastfeeding, pregnant, or plan to be. There are no known side effects with Vindamax. For prescribing information, call 1-877-278-9632. Learn more at Vindamax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get in the game, Upstate. The Gilstrap Family Dealerships here. We're maniacs for all this madness. But if we're going to catch all the games, we need your help. So we cooked up a 3-point plan to help you. Rebound from your old ride. 1. Pick any nicer, newer car, truck, or SUV on the lot. 2. Pass us your old ride. 3. We'll come in with the assist. And give you up to $3,000 more than book value. So if your old ride makes you feel like second string, it's time for a rebound. Because you could get up to $3,000 more than it's worth. Worried about fouls from your past? Our For the People sales process is a slam dunk to get you the nice new car you want and deserve. Alley-oop, and let's take it to the hoop. But hurry, because this still is a buzzer beater. The Gilstrap Family Dealerships, your dealer for the people.
Okay, super chats.
Not super chats. We had, I think, our biggest super chat stream ever. Not last night, the night before.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think
just didn't know if you needed sound effects.
I think you can always feel free to play sound effects.
Oh, okay.
I think we went over $700 in super chats.
Good
Either Thursday
Lord.
or Friday night. I can't remember which one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons that I was like, the loyal constituency, they deserve alive, even if I'm legally dead.
Yeah.
Awards live from South by Southwest. March 16th, we'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year and celebrate the most innovative talent and creators in the industry.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Explore the best selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals all in one easy app. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Electronics Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
His top 20 potential. Bye. I will say I did give him to your Steelers in the mock draft because if there is one thing the Pittsburgh Steelers love, it's a receiver with baggage.
Hey, but we don't have Mike Tomlin there to, keep him in check anymore. You think big Mike McCarthy could contain Mekhi Lemon?
I mean, I do. I am stuck on. I can't definitively tell you what he did. I can just tell you I've seen that kid in person before. I've never seen his eyes that red, and not one word that he said made a lick of sense. For me, it's a little strange that you decided to maybe mix up the pharmaceuticals as you're going on the podium at the Combine. I don't think that's one that I can get past.
Right.
We didn't have a ton of guys, I don't think, hurt themselves over the course of the weekend. But in the next hour, we will talk about winners and losers from the 2026 Scouting Combine. You can always find us online at The Sportsocracy. That's our YouTube channel, all of our social medias. Closing in on 1 million impressions or 1 million views on Instagram over the last week for the Combine. Business manager Megan, social media manager Christiana, doing the Lord's work. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't do anything. I showed up. I talked I talked to some people, got into some cool rooms. I did get into a meeting room for the first time.
Really?
I had never done that before. They took me through the little back channels that lead to the meeting room. Now, there was nobody in there, so I can't tell you who said – A, I can't tell you who said team is. B, I can't tell you who they're meeting with because there's nobody there.
Right.
But you walk through the back channels there, and the door opens, and you're like, oh, my God, I have made it. And I walked in, and would you like to know what you see in the room?
What?
It's a ballroom. Yeah, it's a ballroom with a couple tables, bunch of people working. There were some shirts on a rack. I did think about stealing a couple of those. I didn't, but I did think about it, and I think I may have missed an opportunity there.
Right to jail.
It was wild. It was a wild week. I did have a fun conversation with Trevor Sikkema.
I love Trevor.
I do too. He's one of my favorite people in the business. I don't remember how this came up, but we started talking about if we had a King of the Ring style tournament with the 32 top draft analysts in the country, why that is just really me and Todd McShay in a brawl for all in the finals.
I could see it.
I wouldn't want to mess with like Jordan Reed would not be fun, but I am way bigger than practically every one of these guys. Do you know who Stacey Dales is?
I do not.
She was one of the anchors that led the coverage on NFL Network.
Okay.
Very, very sweet. I met her a handful of times. The camera guys are up on a riser when you're at guys' media availability. She came over to me at one point and she said, could you not stand directly in front of the camera? Because you're like way taller than most of the people in the scrum and your head is like directly in the shot. Then we got a chuckle out of it of we don't really set this up thinking that, we're going to have the 6'5" gigantor in the middle. To which, of course, I responded, of course I can stand to the side. There was one photographer that had a step stool with him. He had a little step stool that he sat down so he could get
adorable.
Pictures.
Yeah.
Is it adorable, or is it something that you could never bring yourself to do no matter how bad you needed it? I told Tank Spencer, I was like,
got on your shoulders?
I told Tank, I said, next year I'm bringing you a step stool if you'll use it. And he went, I don't care even a little. If I was a short guy and I needed that, I'm sorry, there's just going to be heads in my shot. I would literally get on somebody's shoulders before I would do that. I don't embarrass easily, but there are certain things that you're just never going to see me do. But where I was headed with that, you can always find us online, YouTube channel at The Sportsocracy. We're running live right now. The cover picture is from 2 weeks ago because we had a 4-man box last week. So we've still got Valentine's Sweet Baby Trey on the live.
Ah, yes.
But we have some questions there. Joshua Brooks, have you heard anything about who the Jaguars like in this upcoming draft? I heard a few players with Jacksonville. They're a tough team to figure out because they don't have a pick in the first round. And I'll be honest with you, the combine's not really where you get that. I'll start getting better intel there after free agency, which, by the way, free agency opens next Monday. So I would wager we're going to have a lot of names, new faces in new places when we reconvene next Monday here on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. So, Joshua, I don't have great names for you right now. I have some that I like that I've heard. Nothing really concrete, but 7-round mock drafts for every team in the NFL coming out this week. I don't really plan on going back to the studio before Monday. I think I earned a little staycation working from the home studio. I mean, Trey, am I wrong?
No, get back to work. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I think you have earned quite the staycation. What, 11 days? Is that how long you were gone?
I was there 9 days.
9 days. Well, that's not counting the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, and everything before that and all that traveling. So I think you're
Senior and Shrine combined. Let's see. I flew. I
feel like I hadn't seen you in like 2 months.
I was gone 10 days for Shrine and Senior. I was gone 4 days for the SEC championship game. In the last 2.5 months, I think I've been gone 30 some odd days.
Yeah, that tracks. It's been a while since I've seen you.
I'm really, really tired. You can always get involved in the show through the call-in line, 864-240-5480. I believe we have a caller on the line.
Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Randy.
Hey, Randy, how are you tonight?
I'm all right. Same old, you know. How about you? Little worn out?
I made it back. I had some really odd interactions in the terminal at the airport, but we'll talk about those in the next hour. But, hey, I made it. It was by the skin of my teeth, but I made it.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's all that matters, right, at the end of the day? Yeah, good. You guys had a marathon last night powered by Fireball, no less, which made it more impressive.
I do feel like we need an endorsement with Fireball.
Yeah, I think you're working your way towards it anyway. You're certainly trying. Listen, have we got to the bottom of the Max Hinacor mystery? Because I'm just a little bit bored, and I have, whatever. But I can't find any record of the guy. Like, I think it's weird that the high school that says he went to and he played basketball and soccer at, it's a 1,400 student high school. You'd think he'd stick out. But he's not listed on the basketball team. He's not listed on the soccer team in any of the years. I don't understand what's the mystery with him.
For those of you that don't know, Max Ianacher is an offensive tackle from Arizona State. He's kind of burst on the scene in the postseason. He was really good at the Senior Bowl. He didn't exist to what anyone can find until about 5 years ago. There's no birth certificate. There's no date of birth. We get some information on these guys, and most of them you just have their birthday. It's run through the school. They have it up on their socials, and there will be a happy birthday post to them on social media from the team. Max Ianacher, to what I can tell, has never had a birthday. Nobody's ever said it to him. Nobody's ever sent him a telegram. He's never gotten a tweet. Nothing. We don't even know what day his birthday is, let alone what year it is. And I've heard he's everything from 22 to 27.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly like, he's got to be 25 plus. There's no reason to hide it if you're not older.
I don't know that
he's not secretly 13. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know that he's hiding it as much as maybe the agent is telling, because he was asked about it, and he was kind of cagey about it, which makes me think he has to be older. We usually run into this in basketball and baseball, hockey from time to time, where guys have come from other countries and maybe they lied on their passport application or whatever the case may be, and then you're kind of that age forever, even though you're not actually that age. Manute Bol. There are people that to this day think he was 50 years old playing in the NBA.
Right. I don't know. It's just like I said, the whole thing just seems weird to me. Like, the school he went to is a medical magnet school. If a 6'6" Nigerian kid showed up to play basketball, you'd think they'd take a couple pictures.
One would think, but we
have
some video. We have video of him playing basketball, but we don't know what year
in high
it was.
school?
We don't know what year it was, and we don't know how old he was.
Is it on VHS? Because that would be a key indicator.
I do not know if it had to be digitized, but I can tell you it was not shot in 4K.
How short are the shorts? Because that also could help.
I'll be really honest with you. To the best of what I can tell, I think he's 24. I am reading some tea leaves. I'm making some assumptions.
My money's on 25.
And he very well could be. I will tell you, and I asked this to some of the people with the NFL. By the draft, we will know. Definitively, we will know his birthday.
No, quick question for you, just like, and this is more like a trend question more than a specific prospect question. I'll hang up and listen to you guys talk it up. But the whole short arm epidemic that has happened, I mean, it's not even just this year, right? Like last year, not just Campbell, but the last few years too. They've kind of been getting shorter and shorter. For a while, offensive tackle, the threshold was really like 34 preferably, then 33. Now it's like, all right. Do you think that that's on the edge and at tackle? That's just going to continue with players getting smaller, faster, lighter? Because that is happening throughout the league. Not even, I mean, we see the tackles and guards and stuff coming into the league this year that are a lot smaller.
I will, Randy, we thank you for the call and for the question. The short arms thing is wild to me because it's not like these guys are getting smaller. So right. I'm going to tell you a quick story of life and times on the road. One of the fun things about the combine is that you can literally go to the Indianapolis airport. You will see every player in this draft class at some point because none of them fly private. They all fly commercial. There was a row in the back of my plane from Indianapolis to Charlotte that had 3 NFL offensive linemen in coach. I'm not going to lie. At me sitting in first class, I did look back a couple times going, huh. How'd you put that guy? I mean, that guy's been working out. Could we not have upgraded him? Feel like he should be sitting up here with me. And I did it. I don't fly first class very often unless they offer me an upgrade for very cheap.
Right.
This time I did it from the jump, and I'll tell you why I did it. I didn't check a bag, so I knew by the time I got back here I was going to want off that plane very quickly, and it worked out so well. There was a guy on my plane. I don't think he put a period or a comma in one sentence the entire time from Charlotte to Asheville.
Oh, that's fun.
I learned more about that guy in 1 hour than I think I knew about my wife in the first year we were married. But so we get on the plane or we're getting ready to get on the plane in Indianapolis. Blake Miller was on my plane.
Yeah.
I'm 6'5", legit. I know, I just measured myself at the combine. That kid's at least 3 inches taller than me. I mean, he's a giant of a human.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of those guys. You know, Fa'alili Fa'amo from Wake Forest, he was on my plane as well. I talked to him for 20 minutes. That kid, he's a little bit older than my daughter. I think he's got her about 3. He's 22, she's 18. That's the kind of kid I want my daughter to marry. I mean, I was high on his tape anyway.
Got 1 minute.
It is shocking how much you can learn from just being around these guys. Kilgore and Cisse that Rocky called about at the beginning of the hour. In 2 minutes in passing, I can now look at both of those guys and go, that's the kind of guy I want on my team. That's the kind of guy I want dealing with the media. That's the kind of guy I want in my locker room. I like the tape anyway, but you get so much about who these guys are. That's why we make it such a deal to go to the combine. That's why we make it such a deal to make the content. Plus, people really seem to like mock drafts. Everybody except Tony. Tony's not a big fan of mine, and that's fine. Tony, Hope you're having a good night, buddy. You're live in overtime here on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate.
10 seconds.
He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene. And as always, we're brought to you by Ingles Markets. Find them online, ingles-markets.com. Ingles Markets, low prices, love the savings.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-iHeart.
Mom, if your child is suffering from ear infections,
Tony really,
snoring,
he
or constant
didn't like
sore
my
throats,
monograph.
you already know
what's up
something
with
needs to
Tony?
be done.
Tony,
but waiting months
Tony
for a
had a
tonsillectomy or
burn in
ear
his
tubes,
bonnet.
that's not okay. At the Surgery Center at Pelham,
Was
we
he in
can
the chat or was
schedule
he there with
ENT
you?
procedures like adenoid removal or ear tube
Say it again.
placement in just a few days.
Sorry, was he in the chat or was he there with you on
He was in the
live?
chat. Yeah, he was in the chat. He did not like he didn't like what I did at all.
No, that's fine.
He did not like what I did at all.
Well, it's not for everybody, but you are the draft king, so.
I do have. I still want to get to a few of these from the chat. I got one from the Clarity that I want to hit. Buddy's got one.
You got
Flying
two texts as
Scotsman
well.
and Tom. Say it again.
You've got two texts as well.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, Red Sea and Rocky.
Okay.
Busy
We can
night?
do it. I do like busy nights.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so we got Robert, we got Evo, we've got Flying Scotsman, Tom, the Clarity, Buddy. We'll hit all of yours when we come back.
All right.
And apologies that I'm talking so fast. I'm still on a little bit of an endorphin kick from having to fly into Asheville and then having to fly home.
Oh, no, you're good. I get it. You're doing better than I would.
There were definitely a few people on the road that they're I'm probably not in their MySpace top 8.
Really?
I cut one guy off in a way that would shock and awe you. I'll bet you could not have. I know definitively you couldn't have fit Blake Miller in between our cars.
Oh,
you
wow.
might not have been able to fit Zachariah Branch between our cars. Because there was one in front of me doing like 50 and a 55, and I'm like, I do not have time for you.
Yeah, not today.
I am not in the mood for you, Daryl. Get out of my way.
You in your big ass truck too?
Oh, yeah. Usually the big truck's enough for people to go, oh, probably should get over. This one?
Yeah, I got to move.
The spotter told me I was clear on the low side, and I didn't really care how close we came. I knew I wasn't going to hit him, and that was enough for me.
Hey, at least you're here.
I don't know how often you've been to Asheville, but I made it from the
Not
Asheville.
once.
You've never been here?
Never.
Wow, we're going to have to change that. Are you coming up with John and Rich this weekend?
No, I gotta run the shows from here.
Yep, that was a stupid question I asked.
Now Rich, he's coming Monday. He's off the
he was-
next couple of days because he's doing basketball. He's calling games in like Greensboro and a couple other places.
Yeah, he's calling the Big South games.
Yeah, that's it. So he's
Ooh.
busy.
Yeah, you know what that means? That the question I asked 2 weeks ago has still not been answered of who's calling our games?
Oh, that's right. I forget. Yep. I forgot that was on the table.
Uh-huh. You know what that means? Pepperidge Farm remembers. That means Saturday and Sunday it's probably me.
Yeah. Welcome back.
And I have done absolutely no background on this. Maybe they found somebody. I know I'm being stupid, and I'm wishing for something that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
For Ingles, I will do it.
Oh yeah.
I'm just so tired.
I don't blame you.
I want to not leave the house for about 3 days.
Yeah, I cannot imagine that amount of traveling.
It's been a lot.
Yeah.
It has been a lot.
Giannis, by the way, in 9 minutes, 8 points so far in tonight's game. Oklahoma City, Shea Gilgeous.
You got another text that just came through.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome.
And Donovan Mitchell of the Cavs will miss a 4th straight game on Tuesday with a strained groin. Cooper Flagg of the Mavericks is doubtful for Tuesday with a sprained foot. Guard Tyus Jones signed with Denver. To college basketball, still number 1. Duke is in action and at halftime now leading 47-30 at NC State. In about an hour, top 10 matchup of Iowa State at Arizona. And the Detroit Lions are trading running back David Montgomery to the Texans. I'm Steve DeSager.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
YouTube chat.
Okay.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm Daniel Jeremiah.
And I am Greg Rosenthal.
I know that, Greg. We're teaming up on 40s and Free Agents, the podcast that owns the NFL offseason.
This is where teams are built. Free agency, the combine, pro days, trades. Every move matters.
From my draft boards and mock drafts
to my vaunted top 101 free agents and how rosters come together.
Quarterback movement,
surprise signings.
We'll tell you what it means and who really wins. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search 40s and Free Agents, and listen now.
The games are over, so there's only one thing left to do: overreact. The NFL Draft Nerd is here to weave through the world of sports and separate fact from fiction. Get involved. The call-in line's open at 864-240-5480. You can tweet us, we don't call it X, at the NFL Draft Nerd. Now, here's that creed-loving, bird-fearing, football lunatic, Jeremy Greene.
State of South Carolina, 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. It's overtime. He's sweet baby Trey Falco. I'm at the NFL Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene, fresh back from Indianapolis. And we've got just so much going on around this. We've got so many messages, so many different things. So we're going to kind of drink from a fire hose here, try to catch up on these in this segment. We start with the text line. You can always get involved in the show through the text line, 864-777-9593. Our first one's from Red Sea. Jeremy, do you have a reading on what Arizona's doing? I've seen virtually all nonsensical Cardinals fans practically riot for love at 3, and I hate every second of it. I'm pretty confident Arizona's on Francis Maui Noah. They were one of the teams that I actually did get to meet with while I was up there. We don't necessarily talk about teams specifically, or players specifically, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't see them going Jeremiah Love because they were very complimentary of the running back room and the depth. So I don't think that's what's going to happen. For me, the range for Jeremiah Love is very narrow. I think it probably starts at 8 with New Orleans, and it closes at 9 with Kansas City. I really don't see a way he goes to any team that's not one of those two. Another thing to always keep an eye on, look at the last, especially in these off-schedule positions, whether it's off-ball linebacker, running back, tight end. Look at what happened with the last guy and just know that if it was good, it makes it more likely that he goes high. If it wasn't so good, it's more likely that a guy gets pushed down. So you look at Ashton Genty last year to the Las Vegas Raiders. That didn't go particularly well. And I think even though Jeremiah Love's a better prospect, that may end up pushing him down a little bit. I mean, look, we're not that far removed from a time where probably half the league was hell-bent on not taking a running back in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
I like Love a lot. I don't think he's going to go as high as maybe some fans think. He's my number 2 player in the class, so I'm not upset by it at all. Sweet Baby Trey, we have a super chat in our YouTube, so we need a sound bite, if you please.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
It's from Long This. Said, sorry, Jeremy, my wife required my presence last night. That's perfectly fine. Said Tyson is okay and starting to feel like 13 is a bad spot for how things are evolving. He's talking about Jordan Tyson with the Los Angeles Rams, and 13 is a bad spot. This is for me, there are 7 guys that have clearly differentiated themselves. Even with positional scarcity, knowing that a quarterback's going to go up there, knowing that a couple other players are going to go, I get to 13 and go, you're probably not. I mean, my 13th player on the board is Keldrick Falk. I don't dislike Keldrick Falk. There's just a drop-off to him from Spencer Fano, Arvell Reese, Mansour Delane, David Bailey. Those guys are the creme de la creme of prospects. I feel like the Rams are in one of the spots where it's a good pick, but you're in a 10, 11, 12 player draft and you're picking a 13. Yeah. So I think you're going to get a little cute. I love Jordan Tyson. As soon as I heard the medical was good on him, I'm fine. He then follows that up with, if this is how it falls, the Rams get aggressive. And if I'm not, I do know what that means. Says Falafel them picks and trade up. I'm not averse to that with LA. If you tell me LA moves up into the top 7 to get, I don't know who that would be. Maybe Sonny Styles, maybe Arvell Reese. I'm not against that at all. If you've got the capital, go up there and get it. I just don't want to see you burning capital in 27. But he also said Kansas City shouldn't get 29 for an injured corner. He's referring to Trent McDuffie that they're selling. One of the reasons the McDuffie thing has gotten very, very popular, Kansas City tends to sell off corners before they get paid. It's what they do. It's always been their MO. They did it with L'Jarius Sneed. They did it with Javarius Ward. And there is a belief around the league that Trent McDuffie could probably be had for less than you think. Now, McDuffie did miss the end of the season. I also don't think that was as much he was hurt to the point of Kansas City shut it down. I don't actually know how hurt he was. I know they didn't seem up in arms about it. And I can't, to be 100% honest with you, I don't even remember what the injury was. They shut him down for the year, but I can't remember what he did. I'll find it in a minute. He is coming off an injury. Everything I heard was that he would be fine.
Hyperextended knee in the first quarter of the Week 14 loss to Houston.
But there was no structural damage.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. 29 in this class, and this is just something to know, and this was said to me in no uncertain terms. 29 in this class is going to be equivalent to 50 in virtually every other class that you've ever seen. For Kansas City, the high side is we get a fifth-year option on a guy.
Mm-hmm.
For the Rams, it's we get a young corner who, yes, is coming off an injury, but I don't think it's one that's long-term.
Right.
Can't tell you it'll be that way in every mock draft. That was just intel that I had received. We appreciate long this. We also have another super chat, so a soundbite.
Whoa, talk about being stuck in traffic.
That was for you.
Yeah. There are a couple people. They saw the butt end of the Parks Ford Mobile Studio. They had some choice words for your for your boy, and it was just a super chat from Cormai at 007. We appreciate you just supporting the show. We also have a couple more texts to get to. Start with Rocky. Rocky said, "I'm with you on size being 6'5", 250. I take up space as well. What's your take on Washington? Shouldn't they go defense to start in the draft?" I believe so. I was with Washington for a lot of this, and I can tell you there are guys up there that they like. They do tend to be defensive guys. I've been asked about Jeremiah Love to Washington so many times that it's starting to make my head hurt. I don't think that's where they're going. Washington needs to add pieces to make that defense better, because I think the offense will be better solely by getting Jaden Daniels back.
Yeah.
I don't think Jeremiah Love is necessarily the way they should go. Now, could the draft fall in a way that they have to? Absolutely. I think that would mean Maui Noah and Fano fall, and they're the two best players on the board, so you'd have to see Styles, Reese, Bailey, and Love all go in the top 6, which I'm really struggling to see a path that happens. Just solely because I got the Giants and the Browns, who I think are going to be looking for a weapon of some kind. Also, just getting out in front of this in this market where I have in the other markets that I do this in, don't be shocked if Kenyon Sadiq goes way higher than you think he will. I re-reference, he outran Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
That dude is not of this earth. Final text on the text line as we sit from Kurt Lowe. Do you have anything from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I have one of the weirdest. Tampa Bay did not meet with a corner at the draft. Or at the combine, excuse me. Not one. Every corner that came to the podium was asked by Pewter Report, have you met with the Buccaneers? And every one of them said no. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. And I get it. They took 2 last year. They re-upped Zion McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
But to not meet with anybody, even informally, that's bizarre. Surprised me to a point. In our YouTube chat, The Clarity said, I didn't understand the TJ Parker for the Bears in the first round, considering the investment already with Sweat, Booker, and Deo. Would love to see a left tackle or a defensive tackle. I can answer that one. In this class, you're going to get, there's just so much higher of a grade on a certain player that fits in a scheme. I'm not committed to TJ Parker to the Bears. I think TJ Parker is going to go somewhere roughly in the top 25. He's a great fit for Chicago, but I would love for you to get a defensive tackle too. I've said they need a left tackle for 2 years. I'm not against it. It's just the way the board fell. There are times, and I take a lot of pride in mock drafts, there are times that it's a kind of a catch-22. I'm either going to take a player that's not your biggest need, or I'm going to take a player that's a reach. And do you know what happens both times? I get yelled at and called a moron. That's not what the Clarity did, and I greatly I appreciate the respect and the tenor with the way that question was asked. It's one of the hard things about mock drafts is that it's not in a vacuum. A guy can only go once, and that is a big deal. Tom in our YouTube chat with the David Montgomery trade, will the Lions draft a running back or find a backup in free agency? This is a good year for running backs on the free agent market. I would look for them to probably try to find a complement to Jahmyr Gibbs through the draft. If I was spitballing who that could be, I don't think they go as high as a Jadarian Price. I don't think they go. I'm trying to think of more of a thumper that's going to be in that maybe 3rd, 4th round range. I like Le'Veon Moss a lot. I really like Desmond Reed from Pittsburgh. Emmett Johnson. Now that I've seen that name, that one makes a lot of sense because that kid is built like a Terminator. He was the most in-shape guy I saw in a week of in-shape guys. Emmett Johnson bumped into me in the hall. I mean, he's a shorter guy, but his arms are about as big around as my thighs.
Jeez.
Didn't run as well as you'd want him to, but I do think he can be that between the tackles thumper. So, Tom, really appreciate that question. Commanders for life, after hanging out with the Commanders crew, any whispers at targets for us in free agency? This is a really good question. A specific name, no, but just know Washington is planning on taking a big swing. That was what I walked away from with them, that this is going to be – I do think this is going to be a – Washington tries to make a statement. And as we head into a commercial break, we have one more Super Chat, Trey.
And I'd have succeeded if it weren't for those meddling kids.
Did you just go Scooby-Doo on me right there?
Absolutely, I did.
I like that.
I got a lot in the bank.
It's from Long This, who said, to be fair, Jeremy, you do look more like a Bubba drinking buddy than Stephen Hawking. I'm not going to lie. That's the nicest way anybody could have put that, and it's 100% accurate. I do look like the guy that'll sit at the corner of the bar and have Fireball with you all night long, and you know why? Because I am that guy. It's exactly who I am. I am at the NFL Draft Nerd. He's Sweet Baby Trey Falco, and you're in Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. This week, Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championship running from the 5th to the 9th at Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville. Get your tickets, SoConHoops.com. Come join John Ellis, Richmond Weaver, and myself, Tank Spencer as well, for all the action right here in Asheville. More from the Combine coming up after this in Overtime on 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate.
Looking for the best in flag football? iFlag is the Guinness World Record holder, hosting elite flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults.
You got 3 minutes.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
I just realized I haven't hit a bathroom since Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah, you go take care of that.
Like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. Now through Monday, save up to 60% on top brands at Mattress Firm with queens from $189.99. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Do you have a question about your home? Y'all call Wally.
Welcome to Y'all Call Wally with Waldrop Plumbing, Air, and Electric's own Wally the Walrus.
Let's go to the mailbag this week, Dad. Here's a letter from one of our listeners.
Wow, is that a postage stamp?
Dave from Simpsonville writes, Hey, Wally, what's an HVAC surge protector?
What is an HVAC surge protector, Wally?
Well, since you both asked, when your AC has been powered down for a while, you don't want to just whack it with all the voltage you've got.
Yeah, if there's a storm or major outage, those voltages can really spike when the grid comes back online.
Install a dedicated surge protector during your spring AC clean and check to make sure the power comes back gently and won't damage the sensitive components that make these units so efficient.
With the storms we've been having, folks, do not put this off.
As Shakespeare wrote, I wasted time. Now doth time waste me.
Nice one.
I like it when I get to use doth in a sentence.
Join us again next time on
YallCallWally.com.
This is Jim.
Hello.
Jim started advertising with iHeartRadio way back in April. And now?
I have customers out the door.
And this is Sarah.
Hi.
She started putting a portion of her marketing dollars in podcasting back in June.
Business is booming. That's why I'm working on a Saturday.
Want to be like Jim and Sarah? It's easy. All you have to do is own or manage a business and reach out to iHeart. Get started today at 844-844-iHeart or iHeartAdvertising.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Dan Collins.
That's the best back-to-back performance ever.
Dan Collins.
Where do they rank in history?
Dan Collins.
From now until dead.
Hear Dan Patrick followed by Colin Cowherd every weekday morning beginning at 9 a.m. This is 104.9 Fox Sports Upstate.
spies from China try to steal your mind's elation.
You're back in overtime. He's Sweet Baby Trey Falco. I am at the NFL Draft Nerd Jeremy Greene. As always, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. We're back from the Combine. Somehow I have again caught a virus of some kind. Don't think this one's H1N1 or whatever the case may be. I don't know what this one is. But I can tell you this much. Media guys, wash your hands. It seems like every time I'm with you people, I come back and I've got the crud. And I don't like it. You can get involved in the show. Call in lines 864-240-5480. And I believe we have a caller on the line. Caller, who is this?
We got a text.
Oh, my bad. I heard that in my ear.
You're good.
And mine had not updated. That was my fault. You can also get involved on the text line, 864-777-9593. I don't know who this is from, but it's a Ravens, I believe a Ravens fan. I said the Ravens have a history of not drafting Auburn players. Did you know that? Because you mocked it, a player to the Ravens. It's a personal thing. I did not know that. And now that I think about it, I cannot think of an Auburn player that Baltimore has drafted. That's a really good point. There are certain schools, and there's a reason for this. It's not just, oh, we don't like them. I mean, it could be. Usually, it's because a team can't get intel from the coaches that's accurate. And I will tell you this. Auburn has had a history of hiding things about their players from NFL teams.
Really?
They're not very forthcoming with medical. They're not very forthcoming with personality. There are teams in the NFL that have great relationships with certain schools. It's the Bill Belichick Rutgers thing. If there's something to be known with a player, they know it. Because these guys all go to dinner, they sit down with a steak and a cold beer, and they talk about everything that could possibly ever be known about a player. The texter followed up with Ozzie Newsome's rivalry. He would never draft an Auburn player, and I don't believe EDC will either. That's a really good point, something I'll have to dig into, and something that will be used for Mock Draft 4.0 after free agency. If you really like mock drafts, you can find all of those on our social medias. I don't do them on the shows as often. I think they're hard to do in more of a confined radio format. I know other people do them. It's just a little hard for me because I want to ramble on about a player, and then I get to the end and go, sweet, I have 13 players in 15 minutes. That's not good. Not great at managing my time, Trey.
That's why you got me. I'll play the music, do the draft times.
For sure.
That'd be a thing.
You and Tank Spencer, you are professional idiot wranglers, which is what I am. And that was from Mark Phillips. He said, Ravens fan here, also big fan of the show. Mark, we appreciate you. Thank you for the text. And I love when people give me those tidbits of information. It's easy when you deal with all 32 teams to not notice that. To be really honest with you, I've never thought about the fact that I cannot name a player that Baltimore's drafted from Auburn. I can't think of one. And then you kind of take it back to Ozzie Newsome being the previous general manager of this team. Where did Ozzie Newsome play? Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And his fingerprints are still all over that front office. That's a really good point. I had not thought of that. Let's see. We're going to go into the YouTube chat here. From Evo, friends of our part of the team at Raw Dog Sports who helped us with the Combine this week, Mike and Evo, said Houston and Casario said their offensive line was great. Why would they start trading away great linemen? It's also a good time to point out, they did that last year too. Buddy said that in our YouTube chat. Isn't it crazy how bad the Texans' offensive line is? And they traded Laramie Tunsil to Washington, who was a top 5 offensive lineman in the league. That is one of the most bizarre things to me about the discrepancy in how players are viewed. And obviously, being in the room, you have some of these talks with people, and it's shocking how certain teams view guys certain ways, even their own guys. They trade the Texans traded Titus Howard this morning, which makes me think that they probably will have to take a right tackle at some point. I don't think there is a no doubter on that line, other than maybe Ed Ingram. And would you like to take a guess at what Ed Ingram is, Trey?
Talking about his position?
No, he's a free agent.
Oh, free agent.
The only one offensive lineman they have that I like is a free agent. It's just bizarre.
That's the Texans, man. I said last year, I was like, they need a line. They need to shore up the line. And they're like, nah, we're going to get rid of them. This year, I was like, oh, they'll shore up the offensive line. Nah, we'll get rid of them.
Nick Caserio is one of those guys that I was never real fond of. We talked a lot of smack about him. Then he makes the aggressive move to get C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson in the same draft, and all of a sudden we just treat him like he's this savant. Or you went and got a very high-level player that there was virtually no miss in. You spent a lot of money into Danielle Hunter. You've done a really good job drafting the defense. Other than that, you basically drafted Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud. Nico, who was a great find. Yeah. CJ, who there are people around the league going, don't pay him. If you pay him, you will regret it.
Oh, he looked rough in the playoffs.
I heard more anti-Stroud talk around Indianapolis than I think I was prepared to hear.
Really?
He's a good raw quarterback. When you see guys struggle that much in the playoffs, it is it's hard to get behind.
Yeah, I can see that.
The problem that I have, and it remains to be the problem for me, is okay. You move on from C.J. Stroud. Who are you going to replace him with?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the quarterback class got better at the combine between Garrett Nussmeier, who basically said I couldn't throw a ball without feeling like I was being stabbed the entire year. He then threw well at the combine. He interviewed well. I think Nussmeier, he slid into 2. Mainly because I don't really like Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
And then you had Taylon Green just go absolute cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, he ran a 4.37 at 6'6", 230 some odd pounds. I do think his agent made a mistake. You should have let that kid work out at tight end, run receiver reps. Whatever the league wanted you to do, you should do. If for nothing else, because when Taylon Green decides to throw a ball, you could eat a whole bowl of cereal before that ball comes out of his hand. He has, without a shadow of a doubt, the longest delivery I've ever seen in my life. And one of the questions that people have asked me over the years is, why are you so worried about how quickly a ball comes out of a guy's hand? It's because you can't really be accurate when you're throwing motions that long, because you're having to project where a guy is much further down the field and much further into the route than one of these guys that has a really quick release. It's how Tua Tagovailoa snowed us for so long. Because you run these RPO motions, the ball comes out quick and with a lot of zip, and very few of them are going really far down the field.
Yeah.
So he's just disseminating the ball, basically running like a point guard. Well, then teams figured that out. He's not challenging us down the field with anybody but Tyreek Hill. I still don't. Jalen Waddle is not as good of a deep threat as people think. And that was how he went from franchise quarterback to a quarterback that Miami can't give away. That was another big takeaway from the weekend. Tua Tagovailoa hits the wire. I'm not sure he's going to find the spot as quickly as people think. I get it. The quarterback market's bad. I heard a lot more confidence in Geno Smith than I heard in Tua Tagovailoa. Not saying it's right. Just saying that it is. You're in overtime here on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate. We're brought to you by Ingles Markets. Find them online at Ingles-Markets.com. We'll continue with your combine questions, your calls. Hit the call-in line, 864-240-5480, and the text line, 864-777-9593. We'll be back right after these commercial messages.
March trade-in madness is here at Harley-Davidson of Greenville, and riders across the upstate are lining up to get more for their motorcycle. Bring us your bike for a free same-day appraisal. Fast, easy, and on your schedule. And when you upgrade to an eligible pre-owned Harley, ride with confidence.
30 more minutes.
I forgot the station numbers there for about a tenth of a second.
That's fine. You found them.
Like, 10 something. It's 10 some stuff.
Oh, I got a flub from John where he tried to give out the phone number one time, and it's awful.
Let's go.
It was live, and he's like, 864-240.
I have it on a Google Doc right in front of me.
Oh, there's no excuse then.
Oh, dude, when I say I am Ron Burgundy, I will read whatever is on the screen. That's the reason I'm the only one that has this, because if you change those numbers, I will read whatever you put every single time. And I've read the call-in line 500 times. If you change that to 777 call girl, I wouldn't know for probably a month.
That's why I do the easy job and press the buttons. I got to think about it.
Your job is far from easy.
Well, yeah. But you do it after a while. It just becomes second nature.
I've never done it much, and I'm not going to lie. I get way more angina trying to do your job than I do trying to do mine. You're
not going to break anything.
Oh, dude, I can sit here and talk for 3 hours standing on my head. You make me go hard outs and build logs and things like that.
Oh, no, I don't build the logs.
They don't have you do that?
Nah, that's above my pay grade.
Dude, that is a quarter of Tank's life.
Really?
Yes.
No, when I say I just press the buttons, I just press the buttons.
It is a quarter of his life.
That's crazy.
I
hope they don't try and get me to do that once Landrum's out of here.
Even on vacation, like it will take up 2 to 3 hours of every day.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm not on my plate.
I once saw him duck in the bathroom at a Panthers game to fix logs.
Really?
Yep.
So they basically, he's like John Landrum then.
Yep.
Yeah, no thanks. That sounds like way too much stress.
Well, I mean, I tell him all the time, you do know that's not actually part of your job, right? And he's like, yeah,
right.
I take too much pride in it. It'll sound like garbage. They put that on somebody else. They're using you to do it.
Yeah, I mean, more power to him, but
he's a proud dude and he wants it to sound good.
No, I get it. And I take pride in that in my 2 to 4 to 6 hour blocks.
Bingo.
It's going to sound good when I'm here. I couldn't care less what it sounds like when I'm not.
And I'm not going to lie to you. I respect that.
It's just easier that way. All right, we got about 15 seconds.
Thanks, sir.
An idea is you'd be creative, you'd slam them down, you'd be in tour mode, you'd come back and all of a sudden you want to revisit and make it a bit more aggressive.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more of Def Leppard and all your favorite artists.
Falco. Matchbox 20. That is an underrated banger. Also, business manager Megan worked with Matchbox 20. It has really reinvigorated my love of Rob Thomas. He's apparently like the nicest guy in the world, too.
That's always good to hear. It's worse when you go, oh, he's a terrible.
It is. That is one thing that you find working around league circles. About once a year, I'll have a guy, and oddly enough, it's been the same guy a handful of times. Where you go to an event and you watch him treat somebody poorly, and you're like, I don't like you as much as I did 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
And that part is unfortunate.
Now you got a caller.
We have a caller on the call-in line. You can get involved in the conversation as well. 864-240-5480. Caller, who is this?
Hi, this is Alex S. from Charlotte. How you guys doing tonight?
We're good, Alex. How are you?
Better than you are, I think. I don't know if this is SEC appropriate, but I do hope you are taking something to stay awake right now. Because
I'm
look like you hit the itch.
I am fueled by Monster and Fireball as every other day. I would also be lying if I didn't disclose. I've already told my wife this show ends at 9:00. I will eat food, and by 9:20, I will already be fading out of consciousness.
Like a big ginger grizzly bear. That's perfect.
That's right.
Anyways, my question to you is that, I think I asked this last week, is that the PFF mock draft, CBS, are really their draft boards are still not linking up. And I know it's been post-combine. I know we have a lot of new takes and things, but I want to know what drugs the entire world is smoking right now. C.J. Allen went from a end of the first-round pick to top of the first-round pick, according to some people. Hakeem Mesidor, old Leatherhelmet himself, is a top 20 pick, according to some people. Peter Woods somehow fell out of the conversation, which I feel like people are sleeping on his floor. Like, am I smoking something? Like, I really don't understand what is going on.
So I can only speak to PFF because I know those guys. The guys at CBS, I don't know well enough what their content schedules are. PFF's a lot like everybody else in this industry. Of you have great aspirations, you want to do great things, and you have 5 people that are doing it, and you need about 25. PFF updates their boards in not all in one big chunk. So when a guy becomes really popular, they'll move a guy up, which sometimes pushes guys down. I know Trevor's not as high on Peter Woods. I love Peter Woods. I think he's in the discussion at 10 to Cincinnati, 16 to the Jets. I think he's probably in the discussion, 14 to Baltimore, especially now that I know they hate Auburn. I would look for an update to the PFF boards probably after free agency's first wave. That's usually when Trevor does it. It's also one of those things, and I'll tell you this from doing it myself, you can't really just do a handful of them. You have to go through there because once one guy moves, if you do that a handful of times, a guy can get pushed down that didn't really do anything. And so for me, I do basically 4 full resets. I'm done though. My 256 will start coming out on social medias probably next week. I won't change a thing. The combine changed a little bit, not a ton. It more broke ties than anything. But I will tell you, PFF does great stuff. They just do a lot, and it's a massive undertaking. I'm probably a PFF apologist, if I was being honest, because I know how bright those guys are.
I got one more question real quick, and I know that I usually get cut off around now, but I got one more question. We typically talk, especially you guys talk about the 2027 draft and how good it is. And I think from the top 20 or 30 picks down, it's tough. But the top 30 picks, that's like striking gold. How many swindlers, how many assassin games, what is happening for those 2027 picks right now? And what is, the bottom line of what people are trying to give up right now? Because I feel like there's a lot of things that are getting dealt right now that typically wouldn't be dealt, in a hopes to get more 2027 picks.
And Alex, we appreciate the questions and the call. 2027 right now is basically Narnia of everybody's looking at it.
Right.
Because you don't have the super high end in this class. So I'll just use a preliminary list for next year. NFL Draft Buzz is a site that I use a lot. Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart, both high-end edge rushers. Jeremiah Smith and Nick Marsh, both high-end wide receivers. Then you get to quarterback. You have Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Lenoris Sellers. There are more. Let me go directly.
He has quite a few more.
Let me go directly to quarterback. It'll make this easier. So you got Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Jaden Mayava, Lenoris Sellers, Sam Levitt, John Mateer, Brandon Sorsby, Trinidad Chambliss, DJ Lagway, Nico Iamaleava, Darian Mensah, Josh Hoover, who a lot of people think he's going to go to Indiana, really increase his stock.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold, I'm not really there. But just with the ones that I said, you're looking at 10 to 12 quarterbacks that could be in the first round discussion. Anytime you have that, it's always going to push things up. What I was told a lot of was if we have that many quarterbacks, nobody's going to have to move. Because you can sit where you are and get a guy that you're going to love. Because very rarely do teams look at one guy and go, that guy's going to be an all-pro, and the rest of them are going to be working at Home Depot 3 years from now. And you start doing the math, and I'll give you a team that I'm close to, the New York Jets.
Yeah.
If you play out the way this season could go, the Jets are not going to be great. So they're probably going to have a pick that's in the top 5 to 8 just because they're not a very good team.
Sure.
I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are a great team. That's probably another one that ends up in the top 15. I think Green Bay's a playoff team, so that's one that probably falls in the 20s. Do you realize how much capital that is? You wind up with 3 picks in the top 20, you can do anything you want to do. Also, in this class, you'll end up with a true, honest-to-God number 1 wide receiver, possibly. Whether it's Williams or Marsh or somebody else that jumps into the discussion, because there are a lot of receivers. Ryan Williams could figure out how to catch a ball. Cam Coleman's really good. I like Mike Matthews from Tennessee. There are a lot of guys. And you got a ton of edge rushers as well. So teams are kind of looking at this year going, and I heard this discussion a lot. If we had in this class Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart, and Arvell Reese, which one goes third? And I heard Arvell Reese way more times than I would have thought I would. And those 2 young guys that still have another year. That didn't even get into the Mateo Uiagalelei, the Suntarine Perkins, a handful of guys that would have been late 1s or early 2s this year. They take that step forward, and you're getting into 20 to 25 high-end first-round grades. So, yes, to Alex's point, I think there are a lot of teams in the NFL that are sitting back right now going, would I rather have Arvell Reese right now or have the ammo to get Colin Simmons a year from now? It depends on how entrenched your GM and your head coach are. I mean, if I'm going to get fired at the end of the year, then I can't wait. I have to take the guy now. But if I'm safe, this is one of the reasons I look at New Orleans, I look at Tennessee, I look at Arizona, handful of these other teams of don't be shocked if they just go, you know what, I'm going to tap out. You give me some capital this year, but more importantly, I get that one next year where I can move all over the board. I'll build some things out this year, and then I'll go get the studs next year. That's why I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. I think you're going to get more action around the top 10 to 15 picks in the 2026 NFL Draft than we've had in a long time. We had one move. It was Jacksonville with Cleveland. Jacksonville came up, 2 or 3 spots?
Yeah, got Travis Hunter.
Got Travis Hunter. They gave up the first-round pick the following year. When they did it, we thought it was the stupidest thing anybody had ever done because this draft class was supposed to be so good, and we thought Jacksonville was going to be picking in the top 10. How'd that go? They gave up 24 in a mediocre class on the high side. And now Cleveland is circling the drain trying to find an offensive lineman that they can take at 24 because there's really not one there at 6. I think a lot of teams have seen that and gone, what if 27 is not as good as we're playing it out to be? and we can get some value just because people are overvaluing picks next year. It's going to be a really interesting topic of discussion over the next 7 weeks as we start the path to Pittsburgh. It won't just be me. It'll be sweet baby Trey Falco. Our entire teams are going to Pittsburgh for the 2026 NFL Draft.
It's going to be a blast.
I think we're taking everybody. We may have to rent a bus.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, I do have.
I can't drive a bus, but I'm fine with it.
I do have an interest in a transportation company. I could probably find a way to make that happen. Big sweet bus on the way to Pittsburgh.
Let's do it.
I'm
Get the caravan
excited.
going.
I'm excited. I'm also excited for the final segment of this show. Last call for calls, 864-240-5480. You can also get involved through the text line, 864-777-9593. We got one more segment before we close it out here on a Monday on 104.9 FM, Fox Sports Upstate.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with some cool tips for an efficient refrigerator. First, set your fridge between 35 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit to keep
official.
food fresh.
I feel
Second,
like crap.
let leftovers...
You hanging in there?
I officially have hit that wall of I feel like dirt.
Oh. Last segment. Come on, hustle through.
I've hit a wall.
No monster to fix it?
I hit my monster. I had a monster in the Indianapolis airport, and I drank it at like 1, and I went, this will be the end of caffeine for me today. Because nothing is going to preclude me from sleeping like a corpse.
Yeah, that's fair. You on the air the rest of the week?
Yep.
Okay. Didn't know if you were or not.
Yep, we are taking we're taking Thursday to get ready for SoCon. I'll be up there. I'll be up there on site, just making sure everything's right for John and us on Friday.
Oh, so you will be broadcasting from there Friday?
Yep. Oh, well,
are you there the
last
whole weekend?
We heard, so I'm going to assume that that's still the.
Yeah.
I think this week everybody at iHeart saw how much content we were pumping out, and they went, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's sleep deprived. Probably not the time to ask him for favors.
I don't know, man. You might be giving him a little too much credit.
Could be. Could also be that I had my phone on airplane mode, so they couldn't get through even if they wanted to.
There it is.
I connected to the Wi-Fi, but yeah, phone calls weren't coming in.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I didn't get any messages, but I also think my voicemail box is full. So.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be all right.
Oh, they'll survive.
Yeah.
So we came up with some great work, and it was funny, we were working in the studio in Atlanta. It was kind of a hip-hop studio, and none of them really cared who REM were, but the second that John Paul Jones got in there, every single one of the hip-hop guys came in and like, hey, man, those Zeppelin records, they're great. And we're like, but we're from Atlanta and Athens. I mean, no one knows us, but they knew who JPJ was.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from your favorite artists.
Upstate.
Guaranteed cash money.
He's the most listened to sports show in the nation.
Never forget.
Colin Cowherd brings his unique take on sports to you every weekday.
That's called valuable.
Weekdays at noon on Fox Sports Upstate.
Time here on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Big week for Ingles Markets with the 2026 Ingles Southern Conference Basketball Championships here in lovely Asheville, North Carolina. Come on up and see us. I know John Ellis will be here on Friday. Yep. Tank and I will be there Friday, and I believe Richmond's here on Monday.
That's right.
It's going to be a great time. Come hang out, see our beautiful city, hit a brewery, watch a little basketball. And above all else, visit your local Ingles supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. We have another chat on the text line. It's from Kurt Lowe. Said, did you hear anything on what America's team is doing with their 2 first-round picks?
I want me some glory hole.
I don't think I've ever seen a team that had 2 1s that was more quiet than Dallas.
Which is surprising.
I'm also dumbfounded that Dallas brings a bus to Indianapolis every year, and they have a group of scouts that never get off the bus.
What?
They sleep on that bus. So they literally sit in there. They watch the workouts on television. They never come off the bus, and you see that bus all over town.
That doesn't make any sense.
It is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. Now, they have people in the building. So, like, Jerry's in the building.
Oh, that makes sense.
Brian Schottenheimer's in the building. A handful of their scouts are up there in the suite. But they have another group that sits in a bus and just watches the workouts. Which is strange to me. They're the only team that I know of that does that.
Well, that's my mobile command center, Jeremy. That's where all the action happens. That's where I take my measurements.
It's America's team.
Right.
It requires an extra bus to build the Dallas Cowboys.
That's wild.
It's funny. Every year I get asked that because literally they'll park the bus right out in front of the convention center. So, like, it'll be down some little side road, and people will go, why do the Cowboys bring their bus here? Because it's full. It's running. Like, if you walk by it, it's actively running.
Yeah. Well, they need the gas for the electricity to watch the TV.
It is one of the strangest things, and they do it every single year.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
We did have a great time in Indianapolis. Want to thank all of those that watched our live streams, liked things on social media. The team that we had up there in Indianapolis: Tank Spencer, Mike Carlisle, David Smith, business manager Megan, social media director Christiana, just absolutely pumping out stuff from Indianapolis. It was a great week, and it excites us for the draft. But now we turn to the business of the NFL that is upon us, and that's free agency.
Mm-hmm.
We will be seeing things. The legal tampering period starts Saturday.
Oh, nice.
We will have officially – it feels to me like the NFL bounces back and forth of this every other year, every third year, where they'll open legal tampering on Saturday, but then nobody's allowed to tell you anything. So you don't get any information, and then you drink from a fire hose at 4 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah.
Then in other years, legal tampering starts on Tuesday. We know where everybody's going by the time the free agency period actually starts.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure which one I like better. Does give us a lot of things to talk about because there's a lot of teams in the NFL that have money. The reigning, defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, they have a ton of money. They also have a lot of players that are ready to hit free agency.
Yep.
Using SpotTrack, your leader in cap space, Tennessee Titans, $90.3 million. New York Jets have $87.4. Washington Commanders, $86. Las Vegas Raiders, $85.7. Chargers, $84.9. Then a significant drop-off to the Seattle Seahawks at $60.7. Cincinnati right around 50. Everybody else 42.7 or lower. Still have some teams with some work to do. Looking right at the Dallas Cowboys, still $58 million over the cap. They've restructured some deals. I don't think they've made it official. They've told us they're going to do it. They just haven't submitted the paperwork through the league.
Yeah.
New Orleans and Minnesota, both $40+ million over the cap. Cleveland, 25.7 over the cap. You know, it's funny, when I look at the bottom of this list, I go, how do the 3 teams that are the most over the cap in the NFL, they're not any good. Minnesota specifically. They are releasing Javon Hargrave and Aaron Jones, which will help them get closer.
Yeah.
But it's a tough spot to be that pressed against the cap because there's just so little that you can do. And you keep kicking that can down the road. New Orleans, they're 1 year from out of the cap debauchery that they've been in for what feels like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think New Orleans has had cap space in my lifetime. At least it doesn't feel like they have. but they're close to out of it. The core of that team is good and young. Free agency is going to be wild. Don't be shocked if Malik Willis gets more money than he should. I don't know that it's the $30 million I've heard. I always ask one simple question: who wants you to know that? And I believe it's Malik Willis's agent, because he's looking at the quarterback market going, there's just not a lot there. There's not a lot of players that you can count on. There's a whole lot of Kirko Chains.
Yep.
Or Jimmy Garoppolo or Jacoby Brissett. I won't be shocked if you see some starters in the NFL next year that are rather surprising. Kyler Murray feels like he's either headed to Minnesota or the New York Jets. I believe he's going to be cut outright. I originally thought that could be a trade. Looking less and less likely by the day. But let the Tua Tagovailoas, the Kyler Murray, a lot of players, even Javon Hargrave. The funny thing about free agency is it's a lot like shopping at a Goodwill. There's probably a reason that it's here. And if you pay money for it, don't be surprised if a year from now you're throwing it right back on the heap to see if somebody else wants to put it in their closet. Because that's what we do. Free agency is not how you build a team. Free agency is where you add a new faucet. It's where you add a refrigerator to make your already freestanding house look all that much better. The nuts, the bolts, the boards, that's the draft. That's why we spend so much time around the NFL draft, because that's how you build a team. If you try to do it any other way, don't be shocked when you're sitting here 2 or 3 years from now, pressed up against the cap, just like so many of these teams are right now. Minnesota, least salary cap space in the league. They were one of the biggest spenders over the last 2 years. Dallas Cowboys, they're talking about being spenders. If you don't nail it, you're going to be in the exact same position a year from now. It's a vicious cycle. It's the way the NFL works. The objective with the draft is to make sure every team has a shot, if they are bad, to be good. It's also the way that you take a team that's really good and bring them back to the mean because they picked later.
Got 1 minute.
Their players get better. Their players get more expensive. They get hard to retain. It's the beauty of the NFL. There are no shortcuts. You do the work or you don't reap the benefits. So I warn you, and I do this every year. It's not new. I know, as fans in the NFL, you're going to be on your message boards, you're going to be on your Reddit, you're going to be on your social media looking for who your team is chasing. You're going to be on Twitter to see who's going to be the next standout on your team. Winning free agency is exactly that. It's winning free agency. Winning the right to spend a lot of money on a player that their team looked at and said, we either can't afford or we don't want. This has been Overtime, brought to you by Ingles Markets. He's Trey Falco. I'm Jeremy Greene, and we'll be right back here with you on 104.9 FM Fox Sports Upstate next Monday at 7.
I have heart failure, and being out of breath all the time was just too much.
I thought you were about to kick it and break there for a second.
Nope. I mean, I'm barely conscious, but I'm still there.
Well, I'm not going to keep you. You go get some rest. Some much-deserved rest.
I appreciate you a great deal.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to have a salad, and I'm going to go die.
Well, enjoy your salad.
I haven't eaten a vegetable in 9 days.
That's a long time.
I've eaten a lot of beef. A lot of cows died so that I may live.
That's fine. That's what they're for.
For sure. And now I need some leafy greens and a night-night. I'll get an answer.
Go get you night-night.
I'll get you an answer on next Monday. We're cut off by an hour for Carolina calls, right?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. What Mel may decide to do is just preempt it next week.
Okay.
That might be the path. I'm not sure, but I'll get you an answer and get it to you as quick as I can.
Okay.
All right, brother. Yell at me if you need me, and we'll be talking later in the week.
All right, we'll do.
All right. See you, buddy.